Ah, the 1980s, am I right? So awesome. Well, this time we're taking a look at an action movie from the Day-glo Era, which is an interesting combination of the action, cop story, and slasher genres all mixed together. I'm talking about Cobra from 1986, starring Sylvester Stallone. In this one, Stallone plays Detective Cobretti, a Dirty Harry type cop known as the Cobra. He's a specialist in ending violent incidents before they escalate any further than they already have. It's a case of fighting fire with fire. In this case, gunfire. One fine day in the city, a bad guy enters a grocery store and starts blasting away with a shotgun. He has hostages and won't be reasoned with. I guess he didn't like the prices, so they call in the Cobra. Cobretti makes short work of the nutso gunman, firing off quips along with some bullets. Now, it turns out that the gunman is part of a sort of weird underground cult that wants to bring chaos to the streets, along with this random violence. The group as a whole is also posing as a lone serial killer. The cops mistakenly believe it's one guy. Because it's this gang doing the killings, the cops can't narrow it down to fit the classic profile of a serial killer. Plus, one of the gang is on the inside, monkeying with police files. Cobretti wants in on the case, but his chief rival on the force is against it. Garak here doesn't like Cobretti because Cobretti doesn't follow the rules, so Garak is always needling him. Then one night, Brigitte Nielsen sees the gang leader at the scene of a murder, and because she's a witness, the whole gang is now after her. Cobretti and his partner are assigned to protect the chick, but unbeknownst to them, the insider is also on the protection detail. Can Cobretti stop the killer gang and save the chick? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to watch a movie to find out. Cobra was an unusual partnership between the Cannon Group and Warner Brothers. They were able to each bring their strengths to the project. It has a good cast with Stallone, Nielsen, Andrew Robinson as Garak, well, the rival detective. Rennie Santoni is Cobretti's partner, and Brian Thompson as the crazed killer. Garak and Santoni were both in the original Dirty Harry, so it was cool to see them reunited. And Lee Garlington plays the bad cop, feeding the gang inside information. Admittedly, Cobra was not one of Stallone's best outings. There were a lot of problems during the making of this one. Part of the problem was Stallone himself. He was letting his ego get a bit far afield, and while there is a director of the film, Stallone pretty much directed it himself. The actual director just kind of letting Stallone do whatever he wanted. Stallone also wrote the screenplay, so he had a lot of pull. Maybe too much. Also, there is a work print of this film that clocks in at 2 hours, but the studio decided to cut the movie down to around the 90-minute mark. Why? Well, primarily 2 reasons. First, because a 90-minute movie was easier to show more times per day in the theaters than a 2-hour movie. Also, they wanted to trim out the more gory violence to secure a better rating. While this tightened the picture, it also left a few continuity gaps in the final cut. Not that they're glaringly obvious, but they're there. And there's a big stunt-filled action sequence featuring Cobretti's car involved in a running gun battle and chase with the bad guys. Oddly enough, there's no music in the sequence, leaving the viewer to wonder if that was a deliberate choice by the filmmakers, or they just forgot or ran out of time to add music. It doesn't hurt the sequence, but the lack of music is unusual and noticeable. I assume they did it on purpose. Even so, despite all that, Cobra is still a fun 80s action movie anyway. This movie is pretty much known for three things: Stallone wearing those aviator sunglasses, the tricked out car Cobra has, and the laser sight on the gun. That even made it to the movie's poster. At the time, laser sights were still kind of a new thing, still unusual and cool. And the car was pretty neat too. Its distinctive look is tied to the movie and instantly says Cobra whenever you see it. The movie was not a flop, but it was not considered a real success either, despite making a good haul at the box office. It remained popular ever since. A minor Stallone movie, a minor 80s action picture, easily forgotten or passed over, but still a fun movie. Fast-paced, good action sequences, the bad cop working for the gang from the inside, that was a nice twist. It's too bad this character didn't get another outing. I wish Stallone would quit with the Rocky and Rambo sequels already and revisit Cobretti. Even if it were a semi-cameo type thing like they did with Shaft in the remake they made in 2000 that starred Samuel L. Jackson. I'm giving Cobra 2.5 paws. It's very watchable, the action's good, and it's a great introduction to 80s action pictures. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.